Marvel just changed the game, again. A wave of never-before-seen characters is crashing into Avengers, Doomsday and Secret Wars, and most fans won't even see it coming. Some of these heroes and villains may appear once and never return, but who they choose could break the entire multiverse. Stick around, because what's coming might rival Endgame in scope and shock value. The buzz surrounding Avengers. Doomsday is officially hitting that fever pitch, very much like what we all felt when Infinity War and Endgame were on the horizon. And why? Because we're entering a phase where characters, many of whom have never crossed paths before, are finally converging to stand united against none other than Doctor Doom. Marvel's already showing its hand with the early casting reveals. Big names from the X-Men like Cyclops and Beast are set to appear, which is a clear signal. They're stacking this film with a massive ensemble. Just based on what's been confirmed, Doomsday alone is shaping up to be jam-packed. And we haven't even touched on Secret Wars yet. Now, sprinkle in the debut of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. Yes, you heard that right, and it's easy to forget how much room still exists for more new faces. Remember how Infinity War and Endgame gave us surprise additions and unexpected alliances? This next saga might push that even further. And that leads us into today's major update. A reliable industry insider, Cryptic HD Quality, who's been a staple in the leaks and scoop space for years, has dropped some hot news. According to his latest tweet, Marvel is gearing up to introduce brand new characters during the final stages of the multiverse saga. Let's break this down. The tweet goes, "I hear they will introduce a few one-off heroes and villains we've never seen for both Doomsday and Secret Wars. You'll probably never see them again on the big screen after the saga ends." He adds, importantly, "When I say never seen before, I don't mean originals. These are existing Marvel characters that haven't appeared on screen yet, not ones they're creating from scratch. So we're not talking what-if style characters or brand new inventions. We're talking deep cuts from the comics vault. Heroes and villains who exist in Marvel canon but haven't had their moment in the MCU spotlight. Think fan favorites or cult characters that fit the story, serve a purpose, and then fade out." Now, if we rewind to Infinity War and Endgame, Marvel was very deliberate about which side characters made it in. Thanos' Black Order gave the Avengers someone to battle early on. Eitri was pivotal for Thor's axe. And Red Skull? His surprise return as the Guardian of the Soul Stone was the perfect narrative twist. The approach was careful. They didn't flood the screen with cameos just for shock value, which makes the mention of these new one-off characters for Secret Wars even more intriguing. Let's speculate a bit. One massive character who fits this description perfectly is the Beyonder. The Russo brothers have openly admitted that their Secret Wars inspiration comes from both the 1980s and 2015 comic runs. And in both, the Beyonder plays a godlike, story-defining role. But bringing him in now would require a lot of screen time and exposition. Not to mention, Loki has already been positioned as the linchpin of the multiverse, occupying the exact role Beyonder typically plays in the comics. So, would Marvel actually skip the Beyonder and retrofit that power dynamic into Loki versus Doctor Doom? Entirely possible. Same goes for Molecule Man, another powerhouse from the comics. He served as a literal multiversal anchor, which Marvel is now seemingly assigning to characters like Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, it might be simpler for Marvel to remix the lore using characters already established instead of introducing someone like Molecule Man this late in the game. But that doesn't mean all hope is lost for seeing deep-cut heroes. Take Beta Ray Bill, for example. Fans have been rallying for his appearance for years. He was almost in Ragnarok, showed up as a statue, and the Korg flashbacks in Endgame even hinted at his people. He's got a Thor-like presence, but doesn't need tons of backstory. Perfect one-off potential. Now contrast that with Eternity, who showed up in Love and Thunder. That required a mountain of context and mythology just to make sense. Marvel's unlikely to burn time like that again, especially with such a packed storyline ahead. So what are we likely to see? Characters who already exist in Marvel Comics. Characters who haven't appeared in the MCU yet. Characters who don't need complex setup. Characters who can be useful in Secret Wars and then quietly exit. It's a clever way to expand the roster without bloating the story. If Marvel really is bringing in one-off characters, who do you think they'll surprise us with? Beta Ray Bill? The Beyonder? Maybe a villain so obscure only die-hard comic fans would catch it? And more importantly, Should these characters stick around or vanish after the saga ends? Drop your predictions in the comments. And hit that subscribe button, because things are getting multiversal.